That is what we are making today. These are egg rolls. This is shrimp egg rolls. Not hard to do. Egg rolls. They're delicious. They're not hard to make. Wait till you try them. This is a good recipe. Well, howdy folks. Welcome to Texas Cooking Today. Hey, I'm Stuart and I'm making egg rolls today. I wanted to do something special. You know, in the past I've always done like beef egg rolls or pork egg rolls or chicken, something like that. But this time I wanted to do shrimp egg rolls. So today that's what I'm going to be making, is some beautiful shrimp egg rolls. Well worth my time, I'm sure. I know how to do egg rolls. They're not hard. So come on over. Let me show you what I've got. Let's get started doing egg rolls, okay? Come on. So the ingredients that I have for egg rolls today, well, shrimp, of course. I have egg roll wrappers, and so you'll know an egg roll wrapper is simply pasta, very simple, thin pasta sheets. And then I've got some onion, cabbage, carrot, and soy sauce, ginger, garlic, onion powder, and a little bit of salt, okay? So really great combination of flavors here. Now, recently I just had somebody ask me, why use why use onion powder if you're putting an onion in a dish? Well, they're two different flavors, folks. One, when it's dried, tastes totally different from the other, and it makes a good seasoning in addition to having an onion in your dish. So on this one, this is all very simple, easy to do stuff. It's all about slicing everything thin and small. Most of the time when we do egg rolls, we combine the meat with the vegetables, cook them together. In this case, we're going to be cooking the meat separate from the rest of the ingredients. Okay, that is it for cutting up the veggies. As you can see, I've got a couple of cups of cabbage, maybe a cup or slightly more of onion, and roughly a cup of carrot, I'm sorry. And so that equals 4 cups of vegetables there, roughly. And that's what we're going to be starting with. So as you've seen how much that took, a little less than a half a large onion, and less than a small half of a small cabbage. And, you know, what's left is what's left. Anyway, let's move right on to getting this cooked up. That's the easy part. This was the hard part. Alright, the whole idea on my shrimp, I want small little pieces of shrimp inside of my egg roll that gives a nice bite of shrimp with each bite that you get. So my idea here was to cut all of these into small enough pieces so that when they're in the egg roll, I can just kind of line them up in a line. That's actually the reason I'm cooking these separate from the vegetables, and that is so I get an even amount of shrimp throughout. Alrighty, cut up, ready for cook. Okay folks, I have just now put a fire underneath my pan, and I'm bringing it up in temperature. Now I'm going to be getting this to a light searing temperature, putting a little oil in here, cooking off the shrimp, which will only take about 2 to 3 minutes. And in that time, I'll hit it with just a little bit of soy sauce, and that's it, nothing else. After the shrimp is cooked, I'm going to set it aside, not on the same plate that I have this. Use a fresh bowl. So anyway, we'll pull it out, set it aside, and then we will cook our vegetables in here. And that way we end up with an end product that's a little more workable. As I always do, I test my pan with water. You see how that sizzled off? It sizzled off really fast. That means the pan's getting pretty hot, but it's not hot enough. When I put water in here and it just kind of skates around and does not sizzle off, that's when it's hot enough. Test that pan. Now, that right there, that's exactly what I'm talking about. This is Leiden frost effect. Make sure you clean all that water out before putting any oil in here. Okay? Always remember that little rule, or you're going to end up with a bit of a mess. Okay? And it won't be one that you enjoy either. Okay? So as I mentioned, it's a very fast cook, as you can see. Almost finished cooking. We're almost on that edge there. See that? Not much soy, just a little. That shrimp pretty much ready to go. Excellent. Okay. Back on the fire. Time to do our veggies right now. Cooking this is not going to be difficult. I simply have to get it cooked down until it is kind of soft and cooked throughout, all right? That's all there is to it. If you wish to put a lid on it and steam it a bit, it won't hurt this part of it at all. In fact, that's kind of helpful. All right, now this is starting to cook. It's getting softened up. It's been cooking for just a couple of minutes now. I add a little more oil over the vegetables. As you can see, we're going to put a little of that soy sauce in there, not just a whole lot. Again, we're keeping it light. And that right there is all it will need. And I used maybe 1.5 ounces of soy sauce, I would guess. Now, in just a little bit, when this gets cooked down just a bit more, I'll add my spices, the salt, the ginger, garlic powder, onion powder, and I am going to use just a slight touch of MSG also. It's going to cause those flavors to all just pop. Okay, this has been cooking now for around 8 minutes, I would guess, and it's coming along real well. Everything's getting very tender, well cooked. And that's the whole idea. You know, when you're cooking an egg roll, the frying part at the end is simply to crisp up the wrapper and make it crunchy. That's all it does, is just cook that outer portion. The inner part is already cooked. Okay, now, time for a little seasoning. When it comes to salt, very, very lightly, okay? Because the soy sauce we used already had salt in it, so it's not like we have to go and put a whole bunch down on there. Same way with your MSG, it doesn't take much of it, just a light sprinkle. With ginger can quickly overwhelm almost anything, so gentle with it, very gentle. Our garlic powder, there we go. If you notice, I'm not just killing it on any of these. I'm not putting in way too much of anything. I'm going light with it. Alright, I can take this and move it off of my heat now. Look how much it's cooked down. So it's about half of what we started with, and that was, maybe a 10 to 12 minute cook, alright? Some of it with a little bit of steam. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to put this pot that contains my oil right here so we can get it preheating. Now let's make our egg rolls. Okay, a couple of things I want to mention as we make egg rolls. Number one, it's a sheet of pasta, plain and simple. Number two, we need something to glue the edges when we're finished rolling it, and that's going to be water. Okay, so I'll have a brush with a little water ready. Now, the other thing was that I needed a little row of my vegetables. And the way we do this is from the center line, right across here, on the back side this way, we just lay in a little bit of our vegetables, okay? Doesn't take a whole lot. And then go in, a little bit of meat. And remember, on the shrimp, what we're trying to do is get a nice even row of shrimp in there. And that way we have shrimp in each and every bite. And that is kind of what we have right here. I'm making a mess, but that's part of it. Now, for the glue, we just go ahead and wet both of these edges. And what this does is it activates the gluten in the flour of the pasta, allowing it to stick to the outside of itself. Okay, fairly simple. Take the back corner right here and fold it over your filling. Then do the same thing here. This is where you make first contact with that right there. You're just kind of sealing it all together. Now, you take this. I like to fold my corners in, roll it, and then roll again. And then, ladies and gentlemen, you have a verified, bona fide, no BS egg roll right there. That guy's ready to be fried. I'm going to take this and put it onto a, it's called a pan rack. You can call it a cooling rack. You can call it whatever you want. It'll help to keep it in a nice way. All right? All right, so I have finished up making my egg rolls. Time to get them in the oil. I want to say this, put them in there with something that you won't burn yourself. I've got my oil at 350 degrees, and please remember, you're not looking to cook the insides, we're only cooking the outside, okay? Alright, so the quantity of everything I used, well, so you'll know, I started with about a pound of shrimp. But as far as the quantity of everything else, as you can see here, I've got a carrot, didn't use the whole thing, got an onion, didn't use the whole thing there, and got a cabbage, a small one, did not use the whole thing there. So what I'm looking at here is we're probably looking at, a few cups of shredded vegetables when it's all combined, anywhere from 3 to 4 cups. And then with that to a pound of shrimp that I have here. As far as our seasonings, it's just, as you saw, a little bit of the soy sauce with the shrimp, and then a little of the soy, ginger, garlic, onion, and salt with the vegetables, all right? And it was a light dew. After that, we put our shrimp and everything on that wrapper, as you saw, and just got it fried up. Now, as far as how many wrappers, well, I can't really say. It depends on how big do you make your egg rolls. If you make real skinny egg rolls, you're going to need more, and if you make real big ones, then you'll probably need fewer. But this was a pound of egg rolls that I started with, the egg roll wrappers. Now, as far as how much oil, deep enough to fry in. And that's about that, folks. Use the oil of your choice. I chose peanut oil for mine. Something I would like to mention is when it comes to these things, when you first put them in oil, sometimes, like you saw my first ones do, they'll just want to unravel themselves, okay? You kind of got to be ready to just catch them, hold them down, and keep them from doing that. Sometimes crazy things happen. But also, if that is a problem in your cooking of egg rolls, lower that temperature to about 325, and they should work out okay for you, all right? So it's just a matter of keeping it from being too incredibly hot, all right? And once that wrapper has started to get stiff and is setting up in the heat of the oil, at that point it'll hold its shape perfectly. Now usually it stays closed because we used our water and we sealed our little seam down, but every once in a while they just dry up and open up, and that was the first ones I did, were the first ones that I made, and they had dried a little bit on that seam and opened right up. Well, there they are, folks. Beautiful egg rolls. That didn't take a whole lot of work, and looking forward to the wonderful flavors I get. I like a little bit of a little soy sauce with my egg rolls, and I can say this: these things, even though it's been a little bit since they were cooked, they are still piping hot. So be careful when you cook your egg rolls. Don't be in a rush to jump right in and start eating, because they are mighty hot. Now these make a great accompaniment to a meal, or just by themselves. They're wonderful. If you like if you're like we are, and you're a fan of shrimp, that's just delightful. You're really going to enjoy this recipe. This is delicious. Folks, they're egg rolls. They're not hard to do. Please give it a try. Do me a favor. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Click the bell so you get notifications of when I post. Also, click that thumbs up if you enjoyed this recipe or if you like the way I do my shows. I appreciate you doing that. Drop a comment below. I read those things. And remember, there are links in the description that you're looking for. So take a look at that. Thank you very much for watching and enjoy your egg rolls. Mm-hmm.